Hello my dear friends and welcome back to...
That's what they're trying to do in the city.
So, this Autism released a video about New Vegas and he doesn't know shit about this game and I'm get very upset, so we decided to slightly react to it.
New Vegas from the...
So he basically measure employment rate. Okay, so 4 buildings. So there are three casinos, one dead casino, one hotel and one workshop, but there are also 2 NCR buildings and metro station. And even if you imply that all of these buildings are exclusively NCR, it might not be true, but let's see.
Warehouse, and then there are 2 buildings that are controlled. Guy named Mike, there's a girl named Kate, and there's a person named Assistant. Mike works as an artist, and he actually made all of the signs that we see around the city to promote the casinos. And then Kate and the assistant are both...
Yeah, this is all correct. I'm not having a problem here.
Congratulations on your employment, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great time. I can't feel the warmth anymore. The other building is a hotel, which surprisingly only has 1 employee, Sarah. Sarah works the front desk in the gift shop. I guess she cleans all the rooms and does everything else. Thank you for your employment, Sarah.
There is a chance that hotel room on Airbnb style hotel where you like self-cleaning or something. It's hard to tell as player doesn't have to do anything to accommodate his gameplay. As for this, this is correct. Sarah is only a real worker here. There are regulars in the motel, but they don't do anything that could indicate services.
Now, aside from the 10 people that we've talked about so far, every other person in New Vegas works for one of the 3 casinos on the strip. If you've played New Vegas, you might be asking yourself...
This is not true. There is a fucking water merchant independent on the streets that have to like buy heavy fees for working here, but she's independent. So that one person.
There's a 4th casino. Yes, there is, but there's nobody in it. Not a single person, not even...
And you might say that's not employment, but she's from New Vegas. She's local to New Vegas, but she's not from like within the city, I believe. Maybe she's lived there. It's hard to tell if I forgot some of the dialogues with her.
An old, decrepit man in a vat of liquid, so we can ignore the 4th casino. The 3 casinos we have to look at are called the Tops, Gomorrah, and the Ultralux. And it turns out that the basic structure of all 3 is pretty similar. They've got a receptionist, they've got a bunch of security, there are car dealers, chip dealers, bartenders, and entertainment of some kind. And then each casino is also owned by a particular group or family, and then some of them might have unique positions like cult leaders or spiritual leaders or line cooks. But by and large, if you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all, which is great, makes my survey easier. In total, the Tops employs 28 people, the Ultralux employs 17, and Gomorrah employs a whopping 35 people.
This is our correct information so far, more or less. When I number people, I have some of the patches and some of the mods that might bring the numbers up in Gomorrah to 40 and Ultralux to 20. It also depends on what stage he's talking about, because there is this guy, not Mortimer, but Mortimer 2, but also this other guy, Humphrey or someone that later is kind of gone missing. There's also Philip that can, depends on player action, be gone from the place. So there are 3 people who potentially are in Ultralux or are not in Ultralux, and he never state what state is his game. I assume it's don't do any quest, so this all 3 people are counted. So it should be around 19.
Now, despite that, the top...
There is also Benny in Tops and his security guards, but I believe he's counting this. I don't know what he's doing in the Tops though, because if you go to the Tops, for example to Benny Trap, he called 2 additional security guards, which might bring the numbers up, so it depends how you count.
Tops, rather than Gomorrah, has the most security guards in total, but Gomorrah has by far the most entertainers, which makes sense since they are as much of a strip club as they are a casino. Most of the staff in the casinos is unnamed, but there are a few...
So I believe he counted Joanna and Cacino in Gomorrah, but Cacino is not summoned until you start talking. or until Joanna is gone. So I'm not sure how he count the people here. Maybe he doesn't count Kachino, but count Joanna. Due to his unclearness, Vital of the survey, it's very hard. He said that he will not be breaking and entering to restricted areas, but he showed to do that in Ultra Rules, so I'm not sure what the fuck he's playing there.
Named NPCs as well, mostly when it comes to the owners and operators. A guy named Swank runs the tops, and this lady named Marjorie seems to run the Ultralux. I couldn't figure out who runs Gomorrah. I looked in every single room and there wasn't any.
Seriously, you could not fucking find Big Sal, Kachino, and his fucking security guy. I don't know how fucking you can count. You can say that you count every single employee and not be able to find stuff that run the place. This is insane.
Anybody who said they were the owners, so oh well, I guess. And then there are a few other named NPCs, but a lot of those folks, like Heck Gunderson here, these people are in from out of town, and you'll find if you talk to most of those named NPCs, a lot of them are visiting from somewhere else, and they say as much. You want to do it?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that he put importance to visitors, travelers, and like occasional gamblers who are not from town and doesn't need employment in town. So I believe Water Merchant is HR from around New Vegas or living in New Vegas, because she's always there. And she like never go anywhere else. She doesn't have like daily routine, so we have to like believe she's from around Vegas or from inside Vegas.
Because they can't afford the bail money taken up with the boat.
So he literally showed breaking into the cooking stations in the Ultralux, so I don't know how much he stand by it. He also didn't go into the pool area in Ultralux, so I'm not sure how he counted everybody. It's like, it's very dodgy.
With the casinos done, that makes 117 people here in New Vegas, which is easily the biggest economy we've seen in any Bethesda game, but we aren't done yet, not even close. There's actually a whole population of people here that we haven't even touched. It's no surprise to anyone that New Vegas would attract a lot of tourists, a lot of people who are, in town but don't actually live here.
Wait, for gamblers, I wanna skip through
Vegas
this.
that are named one of two things. 23 of them are named Traveler, and 57 of them are named Gambler. And we need to find for any clues about what separated these two groups. Staying in the same hotel rooms, to me, as well, that number swells to nearly 55%, which is funny because the real Las Vegas Strip on your average day is apparently also made up of about 55% tourists. I'm sure that wasn't intentional on the part of Obsidian, but it's definitely interesting to realize how close they got just by guessing. All right, we have finally finished surveying every single person in New Vegas. Over 200.
He probably didn't count
NPCs,
Mr. House for resident.
Every single person that can have a job here does have a job here. New Vegas has an unemployment rate of 0%. Wow.
This is not true. There is a Billy Knight literally in New Vegas who is comedian, but he doesn't earn money by telling trashy joke on the street. As such, you cannot fucking argue he's employed. He literally looking for employment and there is a quest to employ him. According to his stupid data, there is almost 2% rate of unemployment. Wait, there was this graph. This.
Well, to nearly 55%, which is funny because the real Las Vegas Strip on your average day is 200 people in the New Vegas Strip at any given time. About 40% of them are tourists.
200 people. So when there is one person out of 200 people, and yeah, for simplification, let's just say there is almost 1% unemployment, 0.8% unemployment, Billy Knight exclusively, if we count only him. But there is a chance there is more. It's very hard to tell who in New Vegas will be considered unemployment by his classification. Mr. House is most likely unapplicable because he has enough wealth to live. But yeah, he didn't found Great Sal and the other two guys because he literally admits that in video.
and that's not even including all of the soldier state. Finished surveying every single person in New Vegas, over 200 individual NPCs, and guess what? Every single person that can have a job here does have a job here.
This is not fucking true. This Billy Knight here, he's not fucking employed. This is not employed person. This is not a fucking profession you can fucking successfully do in the street. Street comedian is a fucking joke. Street musician like earn more, and this is already fucking joke. Like this is like stated that like people who perform on the street are undiscovered talents that doesn't have booked place where to like promote themselves.
New Vegas has an unemployment rate of 0%.
Okay, so I'm happy to determine that I debunked this bullshit.
That wasn't really New Vegas. I mean, it was, like, technically that is the section of the map that Dr. House turned into a post-apocalyptic gambling paradise.
So now he going to the Freeside, where he will be spewing even more lies. As we established before, we estimate that his world is in unaltered state. Like if you would literally type on console COC New Vegas, that is his state of the world. And that's what I believe. So he doesn't have this guy here that ran away with money and became partially permanent resident there, bounty hunter with like runaway money from casino. He would be considered unemployed, but he isn't there, so it doesn't count as unemployed. But yeah, let him cook further, sure.
Vegas Strip. Freeside is actually kind of a real place. You've got stores and bars and a casino and doctors and gangs and even children. I know that it's technically more like run down than New Vegas, but in terms of like community, I feel like this is easily the more desirable place to live. Just like
you cannot fucking say that place full of thug, muggers and rapists is more desirable to live. There are literally drug addicts and drug dealers openly on the streets. And nobody is doing shit about this. People getting beaten down on the street depends on their nationality, and he is fucking saying all of this fucking lies and bullshit. I'm sorry, I know this game quite well, so it's very frustrating for me.
Like every city in this game, there isn't really a municipal government, but there is a pretty large gang called the Kings who all dress up like Elvis for some reason. And they do provide security, and they control the local water supply, and they have secret sex rooms in their headquarters, which is basically like any municipal local government, you know? At least based on my experience here in New Orleans. If we consider all of the gang members employed, which I do, that gives us 14 people employed.
So it's very hard to tell if Kings are employed. They do run the streets here. They're like a form of the police, but they mostly like keep people like independent from each other. They had problem with Van Graffs, and it basically cost them a lot of numbers and power. By the way, this problem was most likely caused by Pacer. And most likely Pacer is like main source of problem for all the Kings, always. So it's kind of interesting how this faction literally could live better life just by removing this one loser.
Plus this groupie. I'm not sure if I count this groupie as employed because it...
as it goes, she is considered a member of the Kings. She is literally member of the Kings, and when you like write NCR Kings, NCR kill every single one person, including defenseless prostitutes. Everybody. They murder every single person. So she's considered gang member. Whichever you consider her as unemployed based on this is on your own interpretation. You can also consider that she doesn't need a job as she has stable living here.
It specifically says groupie rather than hooker, which is what most of the sex workers in this game are called. That said, we only consider people unemployed if they don't have a job, but they need a job.
Yeah, don't you think Billy Knight that literally advertised himself in the fucking front of the casino and cannot find his stage need a job? No? No? Anything? No?
Okay. He doesn't need a job. She's doing part of the community, right? So she is not applicable. There's a bar in a casino just down the road from the King's headquarters with plenty of folks working as well, including bartenders, a chip.
So here are quests to find fucking employees to the casino. You need to find three performers. Wait, if you are looking for comic. No, comic is poached from here. Comic is working here, but you can poach him.
Cashier, dealers, and entertainers. They've
But you are looking for 3 employees to the place.
even got a crier, which is somebody who stands.
So he showed a child. According to the US law, child cannot hold a job. So he showed the person who is employed. You cannot deny that is employment, but he also cannot apply. So I don't know how he count this.
Outside and tries to get people to come into a business, like those people who spin the signs at Little Caesars. Out on the streets, you'll actually find children playing, which is a nice change of pace, as well as a ghoul named Rotface. At first, I thought Rotface was unemployed because when I first walked up to him, he just asked me for money. Can I cap for me? But then I realized that every time I gave him money, he would give me information, which is absolutely a valid job. Thank you for your input.
You cannot fucking tell people information on the street. I mean, you could as press, but it's elaborate scheme. You cannot do it like Rotface does and make a living out of this. Well, unless you find courier who will give you all his money for some fucking reasons. But normally you cannot.
Inside this story, you'll find 2 employed people named Ralph and Mick, both of whom will sell you supplies. And then back outside is a full-on proper food vendor named Gennaro, or possibly Gennaro. The last place that we have to look in Freeside is the Old Mormon Fort, which is a sort of charity. Even the rundown suburb of Freeside gets tourists now and again. Or I guess maybe it implies that there's no doctors in New Vegas, so that...
In the most simple term, everybody who wanna get to the strip need to go through Freeside. And in order to get there, you need to pass authorization, which can sometimes be as high as 2,000 caps. And not everybody have this kind of money in the Freeside, so they sometimes are forced to either stay there or look for some fucking temporary or permanent employment. Like the bounty hunter is temporary in the collecting business.
I believe in Mr. House. The one exception to all of this is a fellow named Wayne. Wayne is what you would call a scavenger, where he goes around collecting scrap and selling it to local merchants in exchange for money that he can use to gamble. I went back and forth on whether or not to count Wayne as employed, because technically
you can count it as employment in post-apocalyptic world if he can make a living out of this. There is definitely a need for a steady source of materials and supplies. Especially when you have people who are like Mick and Ralph who do guns and accessories for living. Robotic parts for Mick and gun parts for Ralph would be a very stable source for this guy or to get some money. So absolutely yes.
What a job is. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, Rotface doesn't have steady or any like deterministic source of money. He cannot like sell more information than he's already done. And he cannot like extract payment from telling people things, and his information is exhaustible. When one person knows information, everybody can know this information. Yeah, so there is like a lot of limit to Rotface reach and possibility to make money for himself. If he will be running like Freeside courier, that will be lucrative business, you could fucking argue. But he doesn't. He just fucking talk on the street for money. Like if you throw money to a beggar and ask him questions, it's not considered employment. He would most likely answer you some questions because you give him money, but you cannot fucking say you literally resolve his unemployment problem.
So, you know, Wayne, thank you for your employment. Which means that in total, Freeside has a population of 49 people and an unemployment rate of 0%.
This is absolutely not correct. There is one boom who doesn't speak normal comprehensive language unless you are idiot. Then he speak fluent language. This is a form of a joke, as idiots understand each other. And he's drunk on the street, and he most likely, you might argue he's not applicable because he is a drug addict. And there is also Jacob and this other guy who are addicted temporarily, but they really need a job. There is a quest to restore them back to working, so you might consider all three of them unemployment by this definition, together with Rotface. So if we counted correctly, 49 people, I believe that's also wrong. Let's just say 50, as 4 people are unemployed here in this scenario. And they definitely need a job, so we might argue that this unemployment rate from 0% jump to at least like 8%.
Okay, this is weird. Now, full disclosure, there are technically a few more settlements sort of nearby to New Vegas that we are not including in this video. There's a large military fort with a sharecropper farm here. There's a whole other town a little ways away to the west called Westside. And there are
I wonder why he did all of this like so badly. This video is completely inaccurate. He completely missed NPCs or argued he couldn't find anybody. Like, how do you call this like survey every single NPC if you could not find guy Furan Gamora and he's available from the start? You can literally go there at any point and shoot him in the head. You will butcher one quest, but it doesn't matter. You literally can do this. It's very frustrating. Anyway, that would be it. Thank you guys for watching and have a good day.